Hello everybody, it is time to talk about the game I've been waiting for the update for, and it is Mortal Kombat 1. This is Khaos Reigns. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ria. I am a very casual gamer who likes to post videos to this YouTube channel. I do typically talk about gaming, but every once in a while I'll throw in some of my other hobbies that I'm interested in, and I usually post to this channel every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. However, in my most recent upload, which was in a short, I announced I would be changing my posting times to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturdays. So for the Mortal Kombat update and expansion, there are a couple things I want to talk about. First off is obviously going to be story mode. Next is going to be invasions. Definitely going to talk about the Towers of Time afterwards, and then just make some general comments about how I feel overall since I've received the update. I was able to play Mortal Kombat earlier this week. For those of you who do not know, Mortal Kombat 1 received an update, and this was an off-teased update, but it received an update earlier this week on Tuesday, and it teased a whole bunch of different things. We knew that we were going to be getting Cyrax, we were going to be getting Sektor. There were going to be some changes around how you could obtain brutalities and other ways to spend your seasonal currency, and Animalities. Like, come on, we've also got to talk about the Animalities. Let's start with the storyline. Havik is our main star of the show. If you didn't play through story mode before the update, and with the story mode that introduces Liu Kang as a god and whatnot, sorry not sorry, there are going to be some spoilers here for you, so if you're not interested in this, make sure you skip to the next section of this video. I'll have time codes down below. Essentially what we had happen here is Havik, there was a post-credit scene in the first story and for MK1, and it basically teased that Havik was going to come back and have his day and go all buck wild and basically have his little fun chaos fighting situation, because he was not part of the very final battle that you would have seen in the first story in MK1. So now we've got Havik invading the timeline that our heroes were previously involved in the first storyline, and there is a lot going on. You've got this storyline with Cyrax and Sektor, who are now being introduced as females as opposed to the male ninjas that you may know from like the 90s and of course the early aughts. You've got how Noob Saibot came to be, which very much follows the whole like Bihan becoming Noob, but instead of other players getting involved, it's Havik who actually gets involved and creates Noob Saibot. The other cool thing about story mode is all of the mashups you would have seen in the previous part before the updates came into the game, things like Reiko Star or like Jawspell is one that I absolutely hate fighting. It's so funny but also so ridiculous, but a lot of those character mashups you would have seen at the pyramid or throughout the game, particularly through invasions, especially in the last season, you get to see a lot of those as well, a couple of those as well in the storylines. Personally, I found this story to actually be better than the first one in terms of content. I found the story very satisfying. I found it very intriguing. I was very impressed with the writing. What I wasn't impressed with was how underwhelming the final boss fight was. And I won't spoil it too much. You can probably figure out who the final boss is, but I found that it was much easier than some of the other things I was doing in the earlier seasons of Invasions, or just some of the general fighting I had done in story mode the last time around. I think if I had to rate story mode this time around, featuring Havik from 1 to 5, I'd actually give it a 4. Obviously really enjoyed playing through it. I wish it was longer. I really loved all of the stuff with, you know, Sektor and Scorpion and Bihan and Cyrax. I love that entire storyline. I think that's probably one of the best written ones I've seen in a while. But in terms of execution and play, there were some just drawbacks there that I wasn't into, especially for the length of time that you get to play this thing and for the price that it ended up being. A little bit of a drawback, but that being said, I still find this story much better than the first story that came out. It feels far more developed, it feels far more cohesive, and it just integrates the gameplay a little bit better than the first story. Let's talk about invasions. Over the past few seasons, they have been adding different invasions things to, you know, the map. For instance, there are combo trials that you can do, there are these quick draw things that you can do, and that's on top of some of the stuff that already exists, like Test Your Might and Survive. And there are also these malfunctioning robot things that I absolutely hate and have no interest in. Now, the great thing about that is they've made those optional, so you don't necessarily have to complete all of those things. That being said, it can be lucrative to complete some of those things because there may be some prizes or some gimmies and goodies that you might want to use if you're planning to really hustle in the towers. I actually don't mind the Season of Invasions. It features Liu Kang. It's all right. You know, Liu Kang has never really been a favorite of mine to play. Definitely a favorite of mine to watch, whether it's through like videos or somebody else streaming or whatever. Now, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. I don't know if I really feel the whole god situation that he's in, and maybe I am a little bit about him taking the god power away from Raiden in this storyline. Doesn't mean that I don't hate it. I'm just trying to figure out my feelings as a fan. So I do really like this Season of Invasion so far, and I'm probably around halfway through the map, but I haven't really been picking it up as much as Towers of Time. Oh yeah, before I do talk about Towers of Time, I would say so far for this Invasion season, I'm going to do another video once I complete Invasions, but so far I'm kind of finding it a little bit milquetoast, so I'm going to give it like a 3 out of 5. Still really a lot of fun to play with. I've actually been playing most of it with Cyrax. I have been doing some of the challenges that allow you to upgrade other characters that you might not really be playing with, but it's also allowed me to discover some other characters I might be interested in leveling up, especially Sub-Zero. I didn't realize how much I enjoy playing with Sub-Zero now, so I'd probably give it somewhere around a 3 out of 5, but I will shoot another video once I'm done with this Season of Invasions. Let's talk about Towers of Time. Listen, I was very sad when I did not see Towers of Time in this version of Mortal Kombat. I was like, where did they go? I quite enjoyed Towers of Time. I had so much fun experimenting with it, especially in MK11 where you had the AI fighter ability, and it was just such a good time. It was just so much fun to sit there, you know, throw in some chips and have something to drink if you were sick of playing and you just needed to rest your hands and let the AI do the work for you. It was so much fun. It was like a Mortal Kombat watch party without having to get anybody else involved. I was really upset at first when I didn't see the Towers of Time as we had known them through, you know, let's say Mortal Kombat 11. It was interesting to see that other people felt this way too. I have my suspicions about why they didn't have Towers of Time go out right away. I personally think they had some problems trying to make the game work for a variety of platforms, but I'm so glad it's back. I've been playing it. I've actually been playing Towers of Time more than I've been playing Invasions. And the cool thing is you can actually get those Invasions points through those towers. So especially the towers in the front, there's a lot of opportunity there to upgrade your character without having to set foot in the Invasions map. You don't even have to bother doing that. If you didn't play previous seasons of Invasions, you do have to pay up, not with money, but like through the in-game currency. You do have to pay up to play certain towers. If you want to try and get some of those previous season skins, that is totally an option. I'm so glad Towers of Time is back, having so much fun with that. That I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 because so far I've had no problems. Let's move on to Animalities. The Animalities, I think I've pretty much done all of them, and if I haven't done all of them, I've seen quite a few of them. So recently I've been playing as Cyrax, I've played as Johnny Cage, I have played as Scorpion, I have played as Reptile, and there are a few other ones, oh, Melina and Katana, and you know, it's really interesting because they say Animality and you've got quite a few of the Animalities involving bugs, and then that's become a whole debate on the internet. People, I don't care if it's a bee, I don't care if it's a Venus flytrap, it's all good. You know, these are really entertaining, and I think people always forget about the spirit of Mortal Kombat. When people say it wasn't good enough, I always ask, what are you looking for with Animalities? The Animalities, the Babalities, and the friendships have always meant to be really hokey, in my opinion, and I'm always looking for the hokey stuff. The fact that they're leaning a bit more towards the realism aspect of an Animality is pretty wild. Although there is one, and it's the Johnny Cage one, where I really got a good kick out of just the way they executed it, because they shoot it like a Hollywood, you know, movie scene, and very much done like Jaws, and it's just really funny. Whereas one of the other sort of potentially underwater ones, and I believe this was Raiden, who's an eel, you know, it's just straight up realism. The eel goes straight for the jugular and that's it. I think right now my favorite Animality is definitely the Katana one. I think a lot of these were really well done. So I'm gonna give the Animalities so far 4.5 out of 5. I wanna see what the rest of the lineup looks like, but I'm really impressed with how the Animalities turned out, and I can't wait to play them all instead of just watching them all. So we'll see how that all goes. Maybe I'll give an update as well when I talk about my end of the run with invasions for this season. Overall, I think I'm gonna say that this current experience, this current Mortal Kombat 1 experience for me, I'm gonna call it a 4 out of 5. I think it's really great. I just really wish they had a little bit of a longer storyline, and I do wish that there weren't too many like optional things on the invasions map, but overall I'm enjoying it. I think I'm going to be sticking with Cyrax for a while, but it doesn't mean that Cyrax is the be all and end all for me. There are other characters I want to obviously try and level up. 4 out of 5 still, not too bad. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!